Geoff Keighley. Geoff Keighley. You know, I had my fill of Geoff Keighley by last year's, as many other people had as well. By last year's Game Awards, it was very, very apparent Geoff Keighley had become an industry puppet. He was just somebody that was being controlled by all of these large industry friends of his, that he is in their pocket. He used to be somebody that you could at least rely on to call out some of the more abhorrent things that were happening in the industry, things that needed to be called out, and that's not what we get from Geoff anymore. And it feels bad. It feels bad. It felt like we had somebody that had a platform here that was willing to speak out about the bad side of the industry. And obviously, after last year's Game Awards, that is gone. Geoff Keighley is obviously a puppet. He is his shows are just a ruse. The Game Awards are absolutely a ruse. It's just an industry sham. You know, there's only one award from the Game Awards that's actually voted on and awarded by the public vote. Everybody can vote on the awards, but 90% of the weight for all the other awards from the Game Awards that he hosts are actually divvied out by a panel of his industry experts that decide who gets the award. So while they let people vote, your vote doesn't really matter. It's really, really gross. And so, you know, it's just disgusting to have to deal with Geoff. And he caught a lot of flack, as he should have, for not addressing the dark side of what was happening last year in the industry with all the layoffs, right? The only reason I watch the Game Awards anymore, or even Summer Games Fest or anything, is just because, as somebody who is, you know, very, very, I take a deep dive into the gaming industry all the time. Obviously, we do video gaming news every morning and stuff like that. It's important to keep up with, from my perspective, everything that's being announced, and whether it be more information about games we already know that are in development or new announcements, what have you, right? And it's because it is so industry driven, right? His shows, we get a lot of that kind of information. That's literally the only reason I watch it anymore. Seeing and listening to Geoff Keighley anymore makes me want to vomit. He is disgusting. I flippin' hate it. Perfect team up, nice dude, yeah. And funny enough, we get an article this morning where apparently about 4 months too late, about 3 months too late, Geoff has finally decided to address the layoffs in the industry on his social media account, I think. And from what I understand already from some of my community members here, it felt very, very generic. Yeah, so let's take a dive in here and see this. Geoff Keighley finally addresses layoffs in the industry, and here's why it got mixed reactions from the community. Calculated or heartfelt? Geoff Keighley, the unofficial face of gaming, for many, not me, has finally addressed the layoffs that have struck the video game industry lately. After months of criticism from fans about Keighley ignoring such a major issue, he has spoken about it, but many feel it was a calculated move rather than a heartfelt choice. Layoffs across the industry. For those unfamiliar with the situation, the video games industry has seen over 8,000 layoffs till date in 2024 alone. Yes. Like I was just speaking about in our previous article, we are already hitting this type of number right now in this year alone. We're not even 3 months, we're 2.5 months through this year. Whereas last year, it was incredible the number of layoffs that we had seen, and it was around 10,500 in total. We're about to surpass this in 3 months. It's a terrible look. There was even a protest that took place at the Game Awards in December of last year, right outside Peacock Theater, the venue for the award show. A lot of gamers were unhappy with Keighley as he did not address the issue during the show. As we noted above, the layoffs continued even after the event. While many developers and media personalities have spoken up about the issue, Keighley has not addressed it at all. I've spent a bit of time with Amir over the last few months, and I'm impressed with the consecutive actions he's volunteered to help developers. I've signed up to offer my time to mentor job seekers if I can help. If you work in games, visit the site and resources. Geoff Keighley. That's it. That's what we get. Kermit was less of a puppet that day. Agreed, True. Very well played. Very well played. And you're absolutely right. Recently, PlayStation layoffs were announced, which affected over 900 employees at a time when developers were expressing their support to those who got laid off and were raising their voices against these executive decisions. Keighley took to Twitter to talk about a scent machine at possibly the worst time. Geoff Keighley finally addresses industry layoffs. Now, weeks later, Keighley has finally tweeted about the layoffs. On March 12th, he posted referring to the layoffs as a heartbreaking time in the gaming industry. It was followed up by signal boosting Amir Satvat, who has created a directory of more than 6,800 job candidates and over 2,100 mentions and more. Interestingly, as highlighted by Kotaku, Keighley announced information about Summer Games Fest 2024 the very next day. How convenient. How very convenient. While some have applauded Keighley for finally speaking about this, get your noses out of his ass. There are also fans who believe that Keighley addressed the issue in the most diplomatic manner. Fans claim that it's likely intended to keep troubles away before announcing Summer Games Fest 2024 details. Absolutely. Absolutely it was. As mentioned at the start of this article, Geoff Keighley has often represented the video games industry. There's a certain sense of responsibility that comes attached to having that level of recognition in the gaming industry. IGN India believes that Keighley's mellow mention of layoffs followed after the long silence is frankly a bit too disappointing. I absolutely agree. Reactions to Geoff Keighley. However, social media is split in its reaction to these events. Here are some of the positive and negative fan reactions on Keighley's tweet. Well, you failed to mention it during any of your shows last year. Even the Oscars would take time to acknowledge writer strikes. Why don't you use your power as a host to do some real good in the industry? Less trailers, more discussion, celebration of the creators, please. There's obviously the reason behind why he won't do this is because he has been bought. He sold out. He sold out. He's in the pocket of all these big industry leaders, dude. That's all there is to it. And he's too afraid to say anything. Statement from yesterday makes a lot more sense now. Evan Olmstead, 13 months to say something about this crazy time in our industry. I hope you'll use your voice and platform sooner rather than later. It's too late. It's too late. Thanks, Geoff. Really? Took your time, but this is cool? No, it's not. It's not cool. It's too late. He had his chance. He had plenty of time. He missed. And now everybody knows who Geoff Keighley is. Can't help but think this is an advert and not you highlighting the layoffs. Absolutely. Yeah, this is terrible. This is terrible. How disgusting, dude. I mean, dude, I've got other articles up on our YouTube page about how absolutely disgusted I've been with Geoff Keighley, and as somebody who's very passionate about the gaming industry as a whole, and I'm always trying to promote a healthier environment for all of us as gaming enthusiasts and consumers, you know, and where I felt like Geoff Keighley used to be somebody that we could rely on to at least point out some of the faults happening in the industry as a whole. It's gone. He has failed us. Somebody that had made a name for themselves as potentially one of us at points in the past is not one of us anymore. He is one of them. And it feels terrible. Here's his tweet. Also, if you want to take a look at it, all right? I'll link all this stuff to you guys. It'll be in the Discord, all right? Not one of us, dude. Yeah, not one of us. Disgusting.